Welcome to the BALM meditation group. It's Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific time and 2 p.m. Eastern. Today we're going to be working with Principle 11, which is heal your relationship with others. And our meditation today is focused on forgiveness. I'm Celeste Mendelson, and I'll be guiding the meditation. I'm a yoga therapist, and I use yoga therapy and meditation for healing trauma. I'm also a BALM coach and a family member of people with use disorders, and I've been a member of the Al-Anon Fellowship for 23 years. We often have a painful, almost knee-jerk reaction to our fear of not measuring up, not being good enough, smart enough to solve the problems of our families and our loved ones. And this reaction usually comes about because we judge ourselves pretty harshly. And we believe that we should be able to prevent whatever bad thing is happening in our lives. And our unexamined beliefs about who and how we are creates this lack of empathy and forgiveness for ourselves. And we put ourselves on the hook. With use disorders, our loved ones may behave in ways that seem incomprehensible to us, and we begin to see them as other. We begin to disidentify with them, and we start to see everything that they do and say as being somehow tainted or wrong and destructive, and we see their behavior as being intentionally hurtful and directed at us and directed at others that we love, or our family members, our children, parents. And this can become a revolving door with our irritation, our hurt and anger triggered by the slightest action on their part, the tone of voice, or even a facial expression. So in this meditation, we're going to learn about forgiving ourselves first so that we can forgive others and let ourselves and them off the hook, because our beliefs about ourselves create the veils that color our judgments of everyone and of everything around us. So right now, find a place that's comfortable, whether that's lying down or sitting in your favorite chair. Maybe taking off your shoes or loosening your clothing, maybe grabbing a fuzzy blanket, although it's summertime, so maybe not a fuzzy blanket. I don't know. It depends on where you are, I guess. And just let yourself settle in. Allow the body and the mind to relax by letting your hands rest at your sides or in your lap. Let your feet rest on the floor or up on a footstool, however it is that you're comfortable. And begin to notice the movement of your breath. Noticing sensations of inhale and sensations of exhale. And without any judgment, just begin to follow the rhythm of your own easy, natural breath. Just awareness of breath. There's no need to shift or change anything. Awareness of breathing in and awareness of breathing out. Awareness of the body breathing itself. The coming and the going of the breath. And the awareness of that radiant sensation of breathing. And if they haven't already, gently allow your eyes to close, or perhaps if it's more comfortable, just let them be soft, and then give yourself a soft gaze, looking gently down, keeping the eyes open but unfocused. Following the breath, the movement of the sensation of breath in the body. And allow yourself perhaps to settle a little bit more deeply into whatever position is most comfortable for you. So normally with people that we are close to, people that we love and respect, we will see traits in them that we admire. We see things in them that we desire also to have within us. And that sense of identification is critical to forming and maintaining loving bonds of family feeling. And when we are hijacked by fear, it can take over and disconnect us from the very real suffering of those that we love. So working with this idea may help us to respond to someone that we're looking at as an unreal other in our minds with compassion and with wisdom, by beginning for ourselves with self-love and self-forgiveness. Begin now to visualize yourself as a child between 5 and 10 years old, and see the way that you used to keep your hair, picturing yourself in your favorite clothing, whatever it was that you thought of as your look when you were that age, remembering back to the time that something made you feel badly about yourself. Feelings of sadness or shame, unimportance, feeling stupid or ugly, something that others judged you for, and that you also judged yourself harshly for. Remember how it felt to be that child, knowing that you weren't everything others expected that you would be. Feeling once again how it was to be that little child. You made a mistake, likely without realizing the consequences of your actions. So feel again what it was like to be that little child, alone and isolated in your not rightness. Remember that shame and the sorrow that you felt. And remember how it seemed that you would always feel this way, unloved and unimportant and alone. And as you picture this child standing before you, ask yourself, would you have made that same mistake today, knowing what you now know? The child was simply being a child, and making mistakes is how people learn, children especially. And the most powerful karma is that which we hold within ourselves. So forgive the child within you for their imperfectness, for not knowing enough, for not being strong enough or smart enough, not being enough. Let go of the shame and the sorrow and see that child as a perfect child of God, doing what all of us do in this lifetime, learning from our mistakes. Forgive yourself for holding yourself on the hook for so long. Take your little self into your arms and hold them close to your heart. Visualize yourself as a teenager between the ages of 10 and 20. Imagine your hairstyle and your clothing, your attitude. Now, remember back to that time and to something that happened, something that others judged you harshly for, something that caused you shame or self-loathing. Perhaps you were responsible for it. or perhaps not. But at the time you believed that you'd let someone down, caused someone else pain, perhaps something you wished you could bury so far inside you that you'd never have to remember it again. And as you see yourself standing there lost and despairing, ask yourself, would you do the same things the same way today, knowing what you know now? You were simply being a teenager, doing what teens do, exploring your world, and reaching beyond your understanding of the events and situations of the times. And the most powerful karma is that which we hold within ourselves. Forgive that teenaged self for not being smart enough, cool enough, or popular enough, for not understanding yet how it is the world works. Let go of the shame and the sorrow, and see the teenager that you were as a perfect child of God, doing what we all do in this lifetime, learning from our mistakes. Forgive yourself for holding yourself on the hook for so long. Take your younger self into your arms and hold them close to your heart. See yourself as a young adult between 20 and 30. Remember how it is that you wore your hair, and the style of your clothes, the way you held yourself. Think back to that time period and remember an event or a situation that didn't turn out how you would have wanted it, how you wished it had. Something you felt responsible for, or something that others believed you to be responsible for, but you weren't. You believed that you'd let others down, or that they thought that you'd let them down. You judged yourself harshly, thinking that you weren't smart enough or kind enough. You weren't sexy enough, popular enough. You believed that you deserved the negative reactions from others, and you were hard on yourself as well. Perhaps you said unkind things to yourself, saying that you were shallow or ungrateful or stupid. Whatever you said then, hear those words now. Notice how this young adult in front of you looks. Be aware of their posture and the expression on their face. And ask yourself if you would do the same things that you did now, knowing what you know now. Life is about learning. And some of the lessons are difficult and hard. The most powerful karma is that which we hold within ourselves. Forgive yourself for not being smart enough, or kind, or generous, or loving enough. For not being enough. Let go of shame and sorrow and see your young adult self as a child of God, perfect as they are, not as others' expectations or even your own expectations would have them be. See your young adult self and take them into your arms and hold them close to your heart. See yourself now at the age that you are. Notice the style of your hair and the clothes that you like to wear and the way that you hold your body. And remember a situation, an event that's happened to you within the last year, something that didn't turn out the way that you would have wanted it, how you would have wished it to be. Something that you feel, perhaps still feel responsible for, or something that others believed you to be responsible for, but you weren't. Perhaps you believe that you'd let other people down, or that they thought that you'd let them down. And you judged yourself pretty harshly. Perhaps they did too. But mostly it was you, thinking that you weren't smart enough or kind enough, wise enough to solve whatever the problem was, to make whatever happened right. And at some level, you believed that you deserved the negative reactions from the people that were hard on you. And you were hard on you as well. What words did you say to yourself that were unkind? What did you say? What names did you call yourself for the things that you did or did not do, but others thought that you did? Perhaps you believed that you were unforgiving. Perhaps you thought you were harsh. Maybe you believed at some level that you let someone down or that you failed. Whatever it is that you believed or said at that time, recall those words now. And notice, if you can, from a removed position, notice what you looked like in those moments when you felt like you'd let down everyone that you loved. Notice the posture of your body and the expression on your face. And ask yourself, would you do those same things now, knowing what you know? Life is about learning, and some of the lessons are difficult and hard. And the most powerful karma is that which we hold within ourselves. Forgive yourself for not having all the answers, for not being able to solve every problem, for not being kind enough, loving enough, for not being enough. Let go of the shame and the sorrow as you see yourself now as a child of God, perfect as you are, not as others' expectations or even your own would make you. See yourself. Perhaps take your arms and hold onto yourself, hug yourself here, holding yourself close to your own heart. See your loved one, the person whose behavior has brought you here to the BALM. Visualize them standing in front of you, the way they wear their hair and the style of their clothes, the way they hold their body, the attitude that they have. And think back to a situation or an event that happened that didn't go the way that you wish that it had. Perhaps not the way that they wished either. Something that you feel they are responsible for, or that you believe others believe them to be responsible for. Perhaps you don't think they take enough responsibility, or perhaps they do. Perhaps they believe that they've let you down. Or perhaps they believe that you think that they let you down. Perhaps you've judged them harshly. Perhaps they judge themselves harshly too. Maybe you thought they weren't smart enough or kind enough or responsible enough. Maybe they thought that as well. And maybe they believe that they deserve those negative reactions from others, from you. And maybe they're hard on themselves as well. And perhaps they say unkind things to themselves, saying that they are shallow and ungrateful or stupid. Well, whatever it is that they say, whatever the words are, notice how this person looks as they stand in front of you now. What is their posture and their expression on their face? What is it that you said? How did you respond to this situation? And would you respond that same way now, knowing what you know? Life is about learning, and some of the lessons are difficult and hard. And the most powerful karma is that which we hold within ourselves. Find forgiveness for you in this situation, and find forgiveness for your loved one. Let go of your own shame and your own sorrow. See this loved one as a child of God, perfect as they are, not as our expectations or even their own would necessarily have them be. See your loved one, visualize this person and take them into your arms, holding them close to your heart. We are none of us perfect, and we are all on the path of learning in this lifetime, becoming more and more ourselves as we grow. The obstacles in the path are the path. The choice is whether we view them as stumbling blocks or stepping stones. And as we forgive ourselves for being human, so perhaps we can forgive those that we love for being as we are, spiritual beings on a human path. Take a deep breath in and gently let that breath go. And then take another deep breath in and sigh that breath out through your mouth. And allow yourself to gradually become more aware of the world around you. Noticing sounds around you, the sense of space surrounding you, the touch of the air on your skin, the light through your eyelids. And as you shift your awareness more into your senses, you can begin to move gently, slowly and with care, stretching in any way that feels good to you. And take another deep breath in, and then gently let it go as you bring yourself back into this present moment. And begin to visualize all the BALMers who share this meditation space with you today and on future days. Others who know and understand the challenges that we all face. Recognizing that together we are strong, and together we can become our best selves as we implement tools for change in our lives and the lives of those that we love. And when you're ready, you can go ahead and open your eyes. Thank you for joining this Principle 11 meditation today. Next week, we're going to meditate on Principle 12. Be a loving mirror is the journey and the destination. We'll be working on living in unconditional love. And the meditation is on loving unconditionally. The recording of today's meditation will be available in the library within 48 hours. Goodbye, everybody.